Fawn. When Two and a Half Men premiered back in 2003, nobody saw it becoming one of the biggest sitcoms of its era. Every single week, millions tuned in to watch the wild lives of Charlie, Alan, Jake, and the crazy cast around them. But behind all those laughs, the actors went down very different roads. Some scored lasting success, other actors hit rock bottom, while some watched their lives change in unexpected ways. So, what actually happened to the stars of Two and a Half Men when the cameras went dark? Let us take a look. Fawn. Alan Harper spent most of his time trying to keep his chaotic life from crashing, and Jon Cryer was the perfect guy for it. He made him both pathetic and highly relatable. At 38, Cryer took on the career-defining role. Before this, he was known for Pretty in Pink, but playing Alan changed everything. Those endless fights over cash, divorces, and family drama made him a household name. Fawn. Through the show's 12-season run, Cryer snagged 2 Emmys and became one of the biggest names in comedy. Fawn. While the show was burning down with drama, his own career stayed steady. 61. Cryer is still acting, writing, and producing, forever tied to one of the greatest sitcoms ever made. Nobody on the show could throw a savage insult quite like Berta, the sharp-tongued housekeeper. She was never impressed by anyone. 4. Conchata Ferrell turned a small supporting gig into one of the absolute best parts of the entire series. Stepping onto the set at age 60, her brutal honesty immediately won fans over. Farm. She shared some incredible on-screen chemistry with Charlie Sheen. Long before this, Ferrell had already built a highly respected career across theater, movies, and television. 4. But her later years were marked by heavy health battles, including a cardiac arrest in 2019. Conchata Ferrell passed away on October 12, 2020 at 77 years old, due to complications from that cardiac arrest, leaving behind an incredible television legacy. Charlie Harper had the perfect setup, an oceanfront Malibu home, endless confidence, and a different girl every week. Fawn. The character blurred the lines between fiction and real life, making Charlie Sheen the absolute heart of the show, Two and a Half Men, right from the start. 38. He was already a massive star, but this sitcom pushed him to a whole new level of global fame. He made crazy money, but his run was ultimately ruined by public meltdowns, personal struggles, and a highly messy exit in 2011. Yet after those chaotic years, Sheen fought hard to rebuild his career and clean up his life. Now 60, he still pops up in minor screen roles and podcast interviews. Truth is, few characters on Two and a Half Men could throw a punchline like Evelyn Harper. With her lethal wit, brutal honesty, toxic dynamic with her sons, she completely stole every single scene she was in. Holland Taylor was already a highly respected industry veteran long before joining sitcom, but playing Evelyn introduced her to millions of younger fans. Outside the show, Taylor built a massive career across television, movies, and Broadway, earning endless praise for both comedy and drama. Her success kept going into her senior years, including several award nominations, stage roles. Now 83, Taylor is still incredibly active in the industry, is widely loved for her sheer talent, longevity, and commanding screen presence. When Charlie Sheen left the future of Two and a Half Men in total chaos, Ashton Kutcher stepped into an almost impossible spot. Joining in 2011 as tech billionaire Walden Schmidt, he brought a completely fresh vibe to the show and kept it alive for 4 more seasons. Kutcher was already a massive star thanks to that 70s show and a string of hit movies, but his focus eventually shifted far beyond acting. Over the years, he became a major tech investor, putting early money into companies like Airbnb, Uber, and Skype before they were massive. 48. Kutcher still balances massive business deals, charity work, and occasional acting roles, proving his success reaches far beyond TV. Judith Harper spent years on Two and a Half Men, frustrating her ex Alan and the audience alike. But that friction made the character work so well. Farn. Maren Hinkle brought intelligence, sharp sarcasm, and perfect timing to a role that could have easily felt flat. Most fans know her best as Alan's high-maintenance ex-wife, but she quietly built one of the most solid careers in the cast. Once her sitcom days ended, she earned major critical praise for playing Rose Weissman on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, reaching a whole new generation. Off-screen, she stays completely out of the tabloid gossip, keeping her life quiet while maintaining a busy work schedule. Now 60 years old, Hinkle is still a respected, active face on TV. Meanwhile, Lindsay McElroy joined the show as Alan's most significant romantic partner, and Courtney Thorne-Smith played her with the perfect mix of humor, patience, and charm. She joined the cast in 2010 at age 44, quickly becoming a regular face during those final seasons. But way before she ever met the Harper family, Thorne-Smith was already a TV star with major roles on Melrose Place and According to Jim. While other sitcom actors fade away after their big hits, she kept working steadily for decades, primetime television. Off-camera, she focused on her family and even published her own novel, Fawn. Now 60 years old, Thorne-Smith still takes on occasional acting gigs while enjoying a quiet life far from the Hollywood spotlight. Then came Chelsea Fallon. Chelsea was easily Charlie's most serious relationship, but Jennifer Taylor actually joined the show's universe years before she ever played that character. Before her 2008 debut, she had actually popped up as several different minor characters, which is a detail most fans completely missed. Starting out on the series at age 31, Taylor eventually became Charlie's most stable, long-term partner. Beyond the sitcom, she built a solid career with guest roles, while keeping her family life grounded and far from the relentless Hollywood spotlight. Rather than chasing endless fame, Taylor has always preferred to keep a much lower profile. Now 54, she still chooses her roles carefully, while remaining forever tied to one of the sitcom's most beloved recurring characters. Anytime Charlie or Alan got into a jam, Dr. Herb Melnick was usually right there with them. Brian Stiles turned the goofy dentist into one of the show's absolute best comedic weapons, winning over fans with his wonderfully awkward interactions and flawless timing. He joined in 2004, at age 45, already famous from Whose Line Is It Anyway?, where his genius improv skills made him a household name. While some sitcom stars get trapped in one famous role, Stiles built a diverse career bridging television, live stand-up, and classic improv. Now 67, he still runs his own comedy theater in Washington State, performing live for the loyal fans who have followed him for decades. When Jenny Harper showed up for the final season, she brought a whole lot more than just the iconic family name. Played by 30-year-old Amber Tamblyn, her character burst onto the scene as Charlie's long-lost daughter, instantly injecting fresh energy into the show. Joining a hit comedy that had already been on the air for 10 years was a massive challenge. But Tamblyn easily carved out her own space alongside the veteran cast. Long before this, she had earned critical acclaim starring in Joan of Arcadia and The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Outside of acting, Tamblyn became a successful writer, director, and a passionate advocate for women's rights. Now 43, she still balances acting, writing, and creative projects while staying active in major cultural discussions. Zoe looked like the perfect match for Walden Schmidt on paper, but their romance quickly turned into one of the most tangled storylines in the show's final years. Sophie Winkleman was 31 when she joined, bringing sharp intelligence, natural elegance, and quick-witted humor to the character. Yet, what many fans don't know is that her real life off-screen is even more wild. Back in 2009, she married Lord Frederick Windsor, officially joining the extended British royal family. Despite that royal tie, Winkleman kept chasing her acting career instead of walking away from the industry. 45 years old, she is still highly active in TV and film, balancing her public duties, family life, and a career spanning both sides of the Atlantic. Few characters, on 2.5 Men, brought as many laughs as Candy, the sweet, totally clueless girlfriend who stole every scene she was in. April Bowlby was only 25 when she landed the gig, and her natural comedic timing quickly turned Candy into a fan favorite. While most people remember her from that sitcom, Bowlby built a really solid TV career long after leaving Malibu behind, eventually grabbing a new generation of fans through roles in Drop Dead Diva and DC's Doom Patrol, showing off a much wider acting range. 46. Bowlby keeps working in television, while keeping a pretty good private personal life, proving she is way more than just the lovable Candy. Eldridge McElroy joined 2.5 Men as Jake's quirky, highly clueless best friend, quickly turning into a memorable highlight of the show's later seasons. 4. Graham Patrick Martin was only 19 when he took the role, but his natural comedic timing helped him fit right into the series. Though many fans still see him as Eldridge, Martin built a much broader acting career after leaving the sitcom. He scored major roles in TV dramas, most notably on Major Crimes, showing a completely different side of his talent. Unlike most young stars who struggle after a hit show, Martin smoothly transitioned into more mature roles. Now, 34, he works steadily in television and film while keeping a pretty low public profile. Dr. Linda Freeman spent a ton of her time listening to Charlie Harper's endless complaining, but Jane Lynch turned the therapist into one of 2.5 Men's funniest recurring characters. Joining the cast at 44, Lynch brought her signature dry humor and sharp delivery to every scene. Her career reached a whole new level shortly after when she snagged the role of Sue Sylvester on Glee, earning multiple Emmy Awards and becoming a household name. Outside of acting, she is also a successful author, host, and a passionate advocate for charity. 66. Lynch is still one of TV's most recognizable comedic performers, working regularly in both movies and television. 4. Charlie Harper dated plenty of unforgettable women over the seasons, but Mia was probably the one who came closest to actually changing his life. Played by Emmanuelle Vaugier, the gorgeous dance instructor brought discipline, confidence, and a completely different lifestyle into Charlie's world. 29. Vaugier quickly became a huge fan favorite. Fans watched Charlie try the impossible, giving up his wild bachelor habits for love. While 2.5 Men introduced her to a much broader television audience, Fee kept building a stellar career with roles in several hit series and films. Outside sitcom fame, Vaugier has also been heavily active in animal welfare and charity. Now 50 years old, she remains highly active in show business and keeps appearing in both TV and movie figs. Bridget Schmidt entered Charlie Harper's life after his divorce, eventually becoming one of the most important relationships in Walden Schmidt's storyline. The role was played by Judy Greer, actress many viewers recognize instantly, even if they forget her name. By 32, Greer had already earned a reputation as one of Hollywood's most dependable supporting actresses in comedies and dramas. Instead of getting tied to one specific role, she built a massive career spanning major films, television, shows, voice acting, and even best-selling books. That versatility allowed her to thrive in almost every corner of showbiz. At 51, Greer keeps working steadily, remaining one of the most recognizable character actresses of her generation. 4. Slissa's time on 2.5 Men was pretty brief, but Kelly Stables made a huge impact with her energetic personality. She had sharp comedic timing. Joining the show at 30, she showed the exact same charm that would later land her much bigger television roles. Lots of fans are shocked to learn that Stables actually started out doing stunts before she transitioned into acting, giving her a pretty unique background compared to most sitcom actors. In the years after her guest spot, she found even bigger success with recurring, starring roles in some really popular comedy series. Her career just kept growing as audiences fell in love with her natural comedic talent. At 48, Stables is still busy with television and voice acting, while raising her family far from the spotlight. True fans, 2.5 Men, probably remember Miss McMartin as Jake's grade school teacher, whose wild interactions with Charlie sparked one of the show's most memorable storylines. Maggie Lawson took the role in 2014, bringing lots of warmth, charm, and a natural, comedic touch to the character. Even though her guest run was short, Lawson was already a familiar face to TV audiences, thanks to her starring Ferrell as Juliet O'Hara on the long-running hit show Psych. Through it all, she built a great career by balancing comedy and drama, turning into a staple across network television. Outside of acting, Lawson does a lot for animal welfare and various charities. At 45, she keeps working steadily on television while still being best known to fans for her years on Psych. When Brooke Dorsey showed up as Kate on 2.5 Men, her character easily became one of Walden Schmidt's most genuine relationships. Introduced in 2007, Kate's down-to-earth vibe was a refreshing break from the usual glamorous women featured on the show. Dorsey's performance really connected with fans and made the whole romance feel surprisingly real. Outside the sitcom, she built a highly successful television career, guest starring on big shows and becoming a very familiar face in tons of Hallmark movies. Unlike other actors who are always chasing headlines, Dorsey has kept her personal life pretty quiet to focus on her craft. 44, she is still active on television and enjoys a remarkably steady, successful run in the entertainment industry. Courtney might then have looked like the dream girl when she met Charlie Harper, but viewers soon realized she was actually one of the show's most manipulative and unforgettable characters. Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg played this role with absolute confidence and perfect comedic timing, creating a memorable villain who made a massive impact despite only a few appearances. Well before her time on 2.5 Men, McCarthy had built a massive career as a model, television host, actress, and author. Her personal life in the real world often grabbed just as many headlines as her screen roles, including her marriage to singer and actor Donnie Wahlberg. At 53, she still continues to pop up on television and remains one of the most famous personalities to ever guest star on the show. To a lot of fans, Fake Harper was the real heart of 2.5 Men. Angus T. Jones joined the cast when he was only 10 years old, basically growing up right in front of millions of loyal viewers. While Jake transformed from a cute kid into a lazy teenager, Jones became one of the most famous child stars on the planet. But his relationship with that massive fame shifted completely as he got older. In 2012, he shocked everyone by publicly bashing the sitcom and telling people to stop watching it. It was a move that stunned both his fans and the entire industry. Soon after, Jones walked away from acting, choosing a quiet life far from Hollywood. Now 32 years old, he rarely steps into the spotlight, remaining one of Hollywood's most unusual child star stories. Even though she only appeared in a few episodes, Rebecca McFerrin left a huge impression as Leanne, Jake's mother and Alan's chaotic ex-wife. Her character really helped set up the constant family drama that defined those early seasons. Way before joining the sitcom, McFerrin had carved out a highly reliable career on television, booking lots of commercials and hit shows. Instead of chasing massive lead roles, she built a reputation as a reliable character actress who brought real heart and humor to supporting roles. Off the screen, McFerrin has stayed far away from the Hollywood scene, keeping her personal life completely private. Still working in show business at 53, she keeps stacking new projects onto a quiet, decades-long career. Rose might have started as Charlie Harper's stalker neighbor, but she quickly turned into one of the funniest, most chaotic forces on 2.5 Men. Melanie Lynskey took what could have been a basic one-joke role and turned it into a massive fan favorite. She stole every scene, and while many sitcom stars get trapped by one famous role, Lynskey built a killer career way beyond Rose, racking up serious critical acclaim in movies and TV. Lately, people have been raving about her in hit shows like Yellow Jackets and The Last of Us. Her rise is easily one of the most impressive success stories to come out of the entire show. At 49, Lynskey is hitting what might be the absolute peak of her acting journey. Barry only popped up in a few episodes of 2.5 Men. But Clark Duke's deadpan, awkward vibe made him an instant hit. He joined the cast in 2014 at 29, when he was already making waves in comedies like Kick-Ass and Hot Tub Time Machine. While some young actors got stuck, Duke managed to break out of the sidekick box, branching into television, movies, voiceovers, and even screenwriting. Then he went behind the camera, making his feature film directorial debut with Arkansas in 2020, showing he had way bigger plans than just acting. Today, at 41, Duke keeps grinding in the industry, juggling acting, writing, and directing gigs that really show off his range. When Gretchen stepped into the world of 2.5 Men, she instantly landed right in the middle of one of the wildest late-season storylines. Kimberly Williams Paisley took the role in 2014 at 43, bringing a ton of natural charm. A lot of fans recognized her from Father of the Bride, but her resume goes way deeper than those classic movies. Off the screen, people respected her for opening up about her family's quiet struggles with health issues and her constant charity work. She has been married to country singer Brad Paisley since 2003, balancing family life with a solid acting career that has lasted decades. Today, at 54, Williams Paisley still works in TV and film while staying heavily focused on her charity and advocacy work. Long before he showed up on 2.5 Men as Russell, Martin Mull was already known as one of the most uniquely hilarious minds on television. When he joined the show in 2008 at 65, he brought a dry, instantly recognizable humor that fans loved. Off camera, Mull was a highly talented musician and painter, hidden passions that most of his fans never even realized. Across a career spanning over 50 years, he popped up countless hits, built on a reputation for playing wonderfully bizarre, unforgettable characters. Sadly, Martin Mull passed away on June 27, 2024, at 80 years old after a long illness. His razor-sharp wit and incredible creativity left a massive, permanent mark on the world of American comedy. Teddy Leopold only showed up for a handful of episodes, but Robert Wagner brought serious Hollywood history with him when he signed on in 2007. At 77, he was already a certified legend with a career starting in the 1950s, long before half the sitcom's cast was even born. Viewers knew him instantly from classics like Heart to Heart and a ton of movie roles, making him one of the most seasoned guests on the set. Wagner's smooth charm and screen presence made Teddy an instant fan favorite. Unlike most actors from his era, he kept working late in life while also writing memoirs about his crazy Hollywood journey. At 96, Wagner is one of the very last living legends from Hollywood's golden era, and he still occasionally steps out for public appearances. When Ali Michalka played Brooke, 2013, younger viewers already knew her well from her pop music career and major Disney Channel gigs. At 24, she brought a fresh wave of talent to one of the biggest, most successful sitcoms on television. Though her time on the show was short, Michalka's career kept growing way past a quick guest spot. Alongside her sister AJ, she built a massive music career with a dedicated fan base, while locking down film and television roles that proved she can do it all. A lot of child stars crash and burn, but Michalka managed to juggle acting and music pretty damn well. Fast forward to 2026, and at 37, she is still highly active in both fields. 2 decades after it started, 2.5 Men is still a sitcom giant. Some cast members kept winning in Hollywood, while others chose completely different paths. But the show is still bringing in fresh fans from all over the globe. So, which cast member shocked you the most? And who was your absolute favorite character? Let us know down in the comments. If you love this trip back to Malibu, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, stick around for more stories about the stars behind TV's most iconic shows.